This is The Public Interest. I'm Malika Ramsey. Thank you very much for joining us again this week. It recently made the news that leader of the People's National Congress Reform and leader of the opposition, Brigadier the Honorable David Granger, sent a letter to President Donald Ramotar calling on him to announce a date for Guyana's local government elections by Monday, the 15th of September. With me, as always, is leader of the People's National Congress Reform and leader of the opposition, Brigadier the Honorable David Granger. And we are discussing the fact that David Granger and the Partnership for National Unity want those local government elections held almost immediately. Sir, welcome.
Thank you very much, Malika.
There has been some confusion, sir, coming from some sections of society, some sections of the public. People are now asking, how is it that David Granger has suddenly, what they're calling the David Granger ultimatum, has suddenly given the president an ultimatum to call for these elections by Monday, when you have already announced that, look, you are supporting the Alliance for Change's no confidence motion?
Well, there's no confusion and there's no conflict, and certainly it is nothing sudden. What I would say is that a Partnership for National Unity for the last 3 years has been calling for local government elections. The People's National Congress Reform, which is a part of the partnership, was instrumental in ensuring that the legislation was reformed over a period of the last 10 years. And in fact, our members of the Special Parliamentary Select Committee labored to ensure that the 4 bills were brought back to the National Assembly. So we have been campaigning for over a decade to make sure that the local government legislation is reformed. In addition to that, every single week, APNU, not PPP, not AFC, every single week, APNU carries an article in the Starbuck News calling for local government elections, focusing on local government. And I can't imagine how anybody could, in their right mind, could say that it's something sudden, because since Starbuck News opened their pages to us, we have been calling for local government every single week. If you look, today is Thursday, look in the paper today, Starbuck News today, you'll see an article by APNU. In addition to that, last February, a bill was brought before the National Assembly. In fact, it was introduced last December, in which the PPP tried to postpone local government elections, even though they know that the last time local government elections were held 1994, all of 20 years ago, when you were young. 20 years ago, and they were due every 3 years. That means they were due in 1997, that is 17 years ago. So the elections are overdue. So when the PPP brought this bill before the National Assembly calling for a further postponement, we said, we drew the line in the mud. We said, no more postponements. Elections must be held on or before the 1st of August, 2014. This hasn't been done. GCOM says they're ready. APNU is ready. We launched our campaign since last October 2013. So we waited for the announcement to be made, and when, as leader of APNU and leader of the PNC, I saw there was no announcement, and Mr. Rohi had abandoned law and order, crime and security. He was simply going about talking about birth certificates and registration and dead people. I said, this man is not serious. I said, we should be planning for local government elections. So when I realized that PPP was up to no good, I simply said to Mr. Ramotar, I wrote him saying that by the 15th of September, you must announce the date. I'm not saying an election could be held by 15th, of course, it's impossible. But he must announce a date by the 15th. If not, we are going to take action. So that is what has happened. I can't imagine why people feel that we were not interested or we've suddenly taken an interest in this matter. We have been pursuing this matter for the last 3 years. And no other party can claim to have done as much to bring local government to the present state as the Partnership for National Unity.
Before I come to the action that you may want to take if you're not given a date by the 15th of September, sir, the president recently told some members of the media that, look, David Granger and the opposition already know what are some of the main reasons for us not having local government elections. He even continued to say that, look, GCOM may be more ready for a general election than local government election. Your thoughts, sir?
My thought is that the only reason we have not had local government elections by the 1st of August 2014 is because President Donald Ramotar doesn't want to name a date for local government election. That's the only reason. GCOM is ready, APNU is ready, the country is ready, the municipalities are ready. And President Ramotar cannot run away from the responsibility for naming a date. If that date is going to be 1st of October or 1st of January, he must name a date. That is where we stand now.
It was, I recently read in an article, someone is concerned that, look, Guyanese may not be in the mood for any elections at all because people are becoming ill. And, you know, we were dealing with chikungunya. I mean, even though Ebola right now is far away, people are also already thinking about that. So we may not be necessarily in the mood for any elections at all. Do you believe that the fact that we have not had local government elections, has it somehow neglected our communities? And is this the reason people are falling sick?
Well, it has caused neglect in the communities. Anyone traveling around this country to the 71 neighborhoods and even to the 10 regions would see that this country is in dire need of some serious reform of local government. I've never seen the country in such a mess. The canals have not been cleared. There's a massive solid waste problem, not only in the city of Georgetown, in all of the municipalities. There's mosquito infestation, and with the mosquitoes, you have 4 major vector-borne diseases in Guyana, chikungunya, and many people have been talking about and writing about the pain they suffer from chikungunya, dengue, malaria, and of course filaria, which has been there for years and has never been fully eradicated. And it is really sickening to see people still suffering from filaria when it has been eradicated in other countries. So we cannot continue to believe that a Kellowan Lal or a Ganga Prasad or a Norman Whitaker sitting in an office in Fort Street, Kingston, could run this entire country. And they're making a mess of it. When you go to Madi or Mabarumi, you say, who is in charge here? And all roads lead back to the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development. So we cannot wait any longer. If we are to empower people, if we are to give the ordinary residents of these communities, the ordinary citizens of Georgetown, an opportunity to run their own affairs, we must have local government elections. Look at the problem we have in the city of Georgetown. No other country in the Caribbean would tolerate a capital in the state. But the reason is that Norman Whitaker is trying to be a super mayor. He is trying to determine who must be the town clerk and who must be the bodyguard and who must sign checks. He should be trying to run the whole country. Let the mayor run the city of Georgetown. So we have problems in all of the municipalities. We have problems in all of the neighborhoods. We have problems in all of the regions because the PPP is not competent to administer a local government system as a department of the central government.
If I can come back to the fact that you want a date announced by, well, of course not you, but the Partnership for National Unity, you want a date announced for LGE at least by the 15th of September. Previously, you talked about the president not assenting to one of the bills. How possible it is for the president to actually assent to that bill between now and the deadline that you have given him?
Well, these events should not be supposed to be taking place in the September alone, because I had meetings with the president about the passage of the anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism bill. And he is aware of our position that if he wants to move forward on anything at all, he has to implement, and I recommended that his Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General should sit down with our Shadow Minister for Legal Affairs and implement a procedure by which the bills which were not assented to could be brought back to the National Assembly and sent back to him for signature. And when he attends to them, we'll start to move. So he's aware. Since May, I told him what needs to be done. But the longer he takes, the longer we will be in this quagmire. He has created a constitutional crisis in this country. And he is the only person who can, or he has the power under the Constitution, to relieve the suffering Guyanese people from that crisis.
I'm happy that you talked about the power under the Constitution, because a few weeks ago you talked about the president breaking his promises, because he promised in the manifesto that the elections, local government elections, would have been held within 1 year. So apart from breaking his promise, are you willing to say that the president is breaking the law?
He is not fulfilling the requirements of the Constitution. In a sense, how can this man decide not to have national, general, and regional elections? They're required in the Constitution. If he doesn't hold them, he's breaking the Constitution. Similarly, if the Constitution prescribes local democracy as being essential for giving people a good life, if we need to have local government elections, certainly if he does not have local government elections, if he keeps fabricating excuses, he is in breach of the Constitution. So even though it is not enforceable, like the law against murder, it is a breach of the Constitution. And I would say that he can be impeached before the National Assembly. The Parliament could impeach him for being in breach of the Constitution.
Since your letter, I mean, it's only been a few hours since your letter to the president, apart from statements that would have been made in the media being attributed to the president, have you gotten a response? Has David Granger, a Partnership for National Unity, got a response?
No, he seems to have responded to the newspapers, but he has not responded to me. I wait his response. But unless he tells the public, the nation, the Guyanese people, by the 15th of September, what date election will be held, I know what I'm going to do. So I have not received a response. If between now and the 15th, he can tell me when the election, I'm not interested in GAF now. I'm interested in the date. And he must state the date.
Before we have to begin to wrap up, sir, you did say you know what you're going to do. At this point in time, are you willing to reveal anything specific as to what we can expect from David Granger and a Partnership for National Unity if by the end of the 15th of September we don't get a response from the president?
Well, in broad terms, I will initiate any form of legitimate protest to persuade the president that the mass of Guyanese people want local government elections. And that is as much as I can say. At present, I am mobilizing support internationally and nationally.
So you are convinced and confident that you will get the support of the people?
Yes. I go around, I've been to every single region of this country. And I speak out of experience and out of knowledge that the people want local government elections. We, in the Partnership for National Unity, started preparation for, where we launched our campaign for local government elections since last year, October, a year ago. So we are ready, the people are ready, and the PPP is dragging its feet.
And finally, sir, I'd like to give you the opportunity on this broadcast to remind the public that this call on Mr. Ramotar to name a date for local government elections does not necessarily mean that you're pulling out from supporting the no confidence motion by Alliance for Change.
No, by no means. We have already given commitment publicly that when Parliament resumes, we are going to give support to the AFC's motion to bring, calling for no confidence, an expression of no confidence in the government of Guyana. If that motion is passed, we expect that we'll have to go to general and regional elections. But we are not at present, today is only, we're still in September. We are not sure what course that debate will take. But as far as I'm concerned, we had a prior commitment to the Guyanese people to call for local government election by 1st of August 2014. So what we are doing in APNU is fully in accord with the parliamentary debate and what is already in the public domain. And we look forward to the president fulfilling his obligation to tell the Guyanese people by the 15th of September when local government elections will be held in this country for the first time in 20 years.
Thank you very much, sir. This has been another edition of The Public Interest. Of course, I was chatting with Leader of the People's National Congress Reform and Leader of the Opposition, Brigadier the Honourable David Granger, and we were discussing the important and immediate need for local government elections to be held in Guyana. I am Malika Ramsey. Thanks for watching and join me again next time.